Hi, chat. Hello. Hello. Oh, hold on. Well, I don't know who that Sean guy is, but it sounds like you're wrong. Sounds like you gotta suffer. Just a little bit. Suffer. Just suffer. Oh, gotta love it. I know you're gonna like it because the hood gonna love it. Welcome, chat. Welcome. We have a bit of a, so shit went down today. And yeah, kind of like all off kilter a little bit. So we are kind of we're doing a audible here tonight. Not what I was planning on doing. And yeah, we're just gonna leave it at that. Tomorrow night we are still doing the Thursday night show like normal. Depending on how well the Karen Reed hearing goes, we'll try to watch it before the 9:30 show. Don't know yet. But that's kind of where we are. That's kind of where we are right now. So I just want to welcome everybody, but that's our plan. That's our plan. So my apologies as far as kind of coming out of nowhere with this and coming out at so late. Like tonight was just it was just one of those days. This was a ridiculous day today, so was just one of those days. That's all I'm gonna say about it, chat. That's all I'm gonna say about it. Can't say anything else about it. Just moving along. So welcome, guys. Welcome to the show. My name's Sean, also known as Potentially Criminal. I am an attorney in the Cleveland, Ohio area. And tonight we're talking about kind of like the lamest rap feud ever. And it's Drake versus Kendrick Lamar. Now, obviously, it's Drake suing, not really, it's Kendrick Lamar, but also Kendrick Lamar's record companies, UMG Music, and everybody else. And the thing that Drake is arguing is that they, these organizations both represent Drake and Kendrick Lamar, they prioritized Not Like Us and the other things that Kendrick Lamar listened to, or that Kendrick Lamar has been making, accusing Drake of being among things, including a schmedophile. And yes, that is the allegation. Drake is a big old PDF fan. He likes them Adobe files. The allegations of that. So he filed a lawsuit against all of that. And then he also filed a lawsuit against Spotify down in Tejas. Now that one's not really the big thing. That's not the priority. That's not really what we're interested in. We're interested in the one with the record labels of Kendrick Lamar getting sued by Drake. And we already covered Drake's foray into suing everybody. And he did that as like as a pre-action. Since then, there's been motion practice. And we're going to go through some of that just to lead up to the motion to dismiss that was filed by Kendrick Lamar and UMG Records and everybody, the Universal Music Group. And there's a thing they talk about in there. One of the things that got filed as notice of supplemental authority. And you just read, you don't have to actually see the things. They describe all the exhibits. And all you can do is just go, oh, really bad. That's how bad it gets. So Kyler Quinn says, wait, this is actually a real lawsuit. Yes. And that's really kind of the long and the short of it. I put a little bit of a link down below, or kind of a brief description of it. Yes, Drake is suing all of them because they basically they've forsaken Drake to push Kendrick Lamar. It's because, Drake's got that, that pedo label going around on him. So that's where we are with it. So yeah. Alex says, wow, on time. Well, thank you. Chicky Mama Cat says, oh yeah, the like button. There we go. Thank you. I appreciate that. Isn't Drake a Canuck? Yes, he is. Yes. Chantal's performative water fast. Yes. What? Fuck him up. Yes. It's like Kendrick Lamar goes, bing, bop, boop, bop, beep, bop, bam. The kind of shit you're on. The kind of shit I'm on, you wouldn't understand. I just made 2.0 cringe. I know because I do that all the time to her, and she gets so mad. Yes, and Drake, I'm sorry, Kendrick Lamar did not like us at the Super Bowl. At the Super Bowl, even the A minor part was in there. Like he stopped in the whole Superdome was like A minor. And if you guys haven't heard, like that's the thing. It's accusing Drake is not like us. He's a pedophile, is what's being done there. And it's not because Drake's not like us because he's Canadian. Drake is not like us because he's a pedo, is the argument. Yes, he should be placed on neighborhood watch. Yes. MLS says, David, how you doing? Saying, I'm here for the beard. Well, thank you. Thank you. Hold on. Here you go. There you go. You got the beard. Bamelas is only a bad day if you get an envelope marked in red confidential from the state bar. Well, it wasn't that bad. It was just, I was just like, oh. And tomorrow's going to be not really much. Tomorrow will be better. Tomorrow's a new day. I just was like, oh. So Drake is a hardcore Canadian from the streets. Yeah. And guys, if you haven't seen it, we're gonna talk about it. If you guys haven't seen the Drake clip, I'm sorry, the Hey Drake clip. We'll just and I know some of you guys are gonna be like, I don't understand black folk music. Okay, I get it. But that's not the point. That's not the point here. So let me bring it up here. So hold on here. Yeah, here you go. So here, yeah, this is the actual part of what this is really the biggest part of the problem here. Show the Hey Drake clip. We're gonna do that. Yeah. So if you guys speak jive, here you go. This is and I think Kendrick Lamar is not nuking people that show this, but yeah, this is him talking about Drake. So here you go. Here's the lyric they're talking about in question. So guys, hit the like and subscribe. I'm gonna need it because this is gonna get demonetized super quick. So give me the likes, get the subs. We're gonna have to make up for it.
Bully the floor on him. Say Drake, I hear you like I'm young. You better not ever go to Cell Block 1. To any bitch that talk to him and they in love, just make sure you hide your little sister from him. They tell me Chubb's the only one that get your hand-me-downs and party at the party playing with his nose now. And Baca got a weird case. Why is he around? Certified lover boys, certified pedophiles. Wop, 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 wop. That fuck him up. Wop, 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 wop. I'ma do my stuff. What?
And guys, the owl is Drake's like symbol. That's why. So he's beating up an owl pinata. That's why it's attacking Drake. And the OVO is Drake's thing, the OVO, and they're called OVOs. So that's why they're doing all that.
Why you trolling like a bitch? Ain't you tired? Trying to strike a chord and it's probably A minor. They not like us. They not like us. They not like us.
So you can see in A minor, they not like us and they like us. Yeah, in the cell, he was doing the OVO hand symbol too. Yes. The what? The Duolingo doing not like us? Oh, I forgot about that. Yes, Duolingo. They did a whole A minor thing. And I was like on TikTok, but yeah. This video is the lowest, shittiest one I've ever seen. Okay, well, these rappers are calling each other pedophiles, so you should enjoy it. So you guys, there you go. But yes, literally, this is what he also did at the Super Bowl, but they not like us. And it's because, like I'm from the hood. Kendrick, or Kendrick's like, I'm from the hood. Drake is a Mickey Mouse Club, which he was, and he's also a pedophile from Canada. So that was the ultimate issue there. Yes, they not limed us. Yes. This is the greatest diss against a pedophile, yes. And Will Ferrell did it on Saturday Night Live. Well, I don't watch it anymore, so. Duolingo was unhinged on Reels, yes. Yes, and he also called Drake a pedophile at the Super Bowl. So, you guys haven't seen that here. Hold on. Yeah, hold on here.
No.
Let me see.
The song, but you know they.
Yeah, here we go. If you guys get the memes, you've seen it. So, where is?
And I'm the one that up the skull, walking down the whole time. I know he got some hoe.
Oh, I'm trying to find it.
Bully the fro, say Drake. I know he got.
Yeah, there you go. So this is the thing that came out. Oh god, the NFL fucking nuked me. Sorry, we can't do that chat. Never mind. I saw the NFL clip down there. Yeah, we're not doing that. I'm not getting nuked. I'm not nuking the stream tonight. We're not nuking the stream tonight. But anyways, it's that part where he's got the microphone. He's like, "Say Drake, I hear you like him young," and he does the whole thing. So, yeah. You heard the Samuel L. Jackson already. Yeah. Well, I'm not showing the screen. I was trying to find the right spot. Yes, that was the other thing too. Serena Williams was there on screen. She was there at the Super Bowl. Him and Drake. I'm sorry, him, but I mean he's kind of manly. They had a thing too. Yeah, it was all about that. Yeah, that was Drake's ex. Yes. So, but yes, Drake does like them young apparently. Anyway, so that's where we're going from this. And Drake filed his lawsuit. Well, what's that? Did you send me the link to email? Okay, hold on, chat. Apparently 2.0 sent me something. So, which email did you send it to? I'll find it. I'll do the work for you, my sweetheart, because I love you so much. I did what? No, I did not. When did I do that? Yeah, that's the thing. I did not do that. So do not listen to her lies. Do not listen to this woman's lies. She is just... Yeah, I don't see it there, Bay. I don't see it. So, hold on, chat. We're going to try to find it one more second because she wants me to cover it here. So, oh, yeah, here we go. Yes. Okay, yes, this was so mean, but so funny. Duolingo went after everybody here, and I'm gonna turn this up so you guys can hear it. We're gonna boost it. You guys ready? Here you go.
Trying to strike a chord, and it's probably a minor. Trying to strike a chord.
This is literally Duolingo. Like actual companies are jumping on this bandwagon of making fun of this pedophile. So, yeah. So anyways, guys, we're going to move on from there. So Drake filed his lawsuit. As things started moving along, we started getting filings in, including from, Kendrick and UMG and the attorneys involved in this. So we already covered the first part of things, and now we get to why nothing's happened since then. So why nothing's happened since then is because the attorneys involved in this, and remember, I mentioned this before, on the East Coast, you do all this motion practice through letters, and this is the same in federal court and state court. So remember, during Trump's case, everything was done by letter. This is how things work over there. Compared to in the DC circuit, so for example, with the Tren de Agua cases, what's happening there? It's all done by motion, but here in the Northeast, you use letters, and that's just how they roll. So this is from the defendant's attorneys, and they say, we represent UMG Recordings, and they say, we write to you to request that our time to respond be extended by 34 days. And they want to go from February 11th to March 17th. And they say, without prejudice to requesting an additional extension if needed. They point out they've had some problems. They say, we request this extension because the wildfires in LA have greatly impacted our executive and legal teams. And it has. Think about it. I mean, like, that was a big problem in LA. And they say an extension from the court would enable sufficient time to respond. This is our first request for an extension to respond to the complaint. And this is something you always do when you're asking for more time, unless you're like, you've asked a bunch already. If it's your first time, you always just put in, Your Honor, this is the first time I've asked for it. Because you can then say, I'm just asking once. Help me out, brother. And the court's really going to be hard-pressed to say no. Even at the second time, court's probably going to say, okay. But after that, you might not necessarily want to specify how many times you've asked before. But you can, when it's your first time, definitely do that because that looks good. And then also, the plaintiff's opposing counsel consents to the extension. That makes it even easier for the judge to grant. Look, we're already all in agreement. We're going to do it. And this is for the attorneys for UMG, and they asked for more time. And the court, they got extra time. And then later on, a little bit later after that, and there were a couple more filings of just random garbage. And there was another filing here. And this is from the plaintiff. This is from Drake. And if you guys didn't know, his name is Aubrey Drake Graham. So some of you might say, well, why is he called Drake? Well, that's what he does. What do you guys tell? So Tia Nana is saying, is Kendrick winning? Is there another win for the Kendrick? Yes. Kendrick's just racking dubs. Kendrick is just racking dubs right now. So. Kitty says because Aubrey is a gay name. Aubrey's not a gay name. Aubrey's a solid name. You can't be a rapper with the name Aubrey. So anyways, they go ahead and they write to the court talking about a requested extension of time to respond. And they say, while they attempted to reach a full agreement with the defendants on a full briefing schedule before defendant filed its extension request, the plaintiff now writes a proposed extended briefing schedule for plaintiff's opposition and defendant's reply. And they say, although the defendants are saying it's not necessary to set the schedule, the defendant consents to the proposed schedule. Now, here's what's going on. They're already anticipating a motion to dismiss. They know that's coming. So here's how this works. They're already planning this all out. So they say, because of the complexity of the issues and the fact the parties have already agreed to this and the court ordered an extension of the time to respond, we should do this. And they say, as outlined below, they request a 14-day extension for his time to oppose a motion to dismiss. And they consent to a 7-day extension for the defendant's time to file a reply. And remember, the defendant's Kendrick Lamar gets to file the motion to dismiss. Drake gets to respond. And then remember, the original moving party gets a chance to do the reply back. They get to do a reply brief. So the way this is going to work is by the 17th, so that was on Monday, Kendrick and those guys had to file a motion to dismiss. 2 weeks after that, the 31st, the opposition to it has to be filed. That's currently a deadline now. They're requesting a deadline of April 16th, which is a 14-day extension. And they're just changing things up a little bit. And the reply in support of the motion to dismiss, instead of April 23rd, they want to push it back to April 30th. And they're asking for more time. So you guys can see some of these cases where you talk about this, that's how these things get set up. And hold on here. I need to move some more stuff. So that is kind of where we're looking at. What are these timelines going to be? And this is then once again, the plaintiffs say, hey, look, it's our first request for time to extend. We haven't asked for it before. Please, judge, let us work on this. We kind of need the time here. And this is how this goes, guys. And people might laugh at it, but this is how this occurs. So what ended up happening is the judge granted this. So the current timeline, if you guys are looking for any other documents, we're waiting like a whole month for anything else to drop. So just so you're aware, yes, unlike Destiny, they understand consent. Well, Drake might not understand consent either because the kids can't consent. But yes, there's no consent accidents here. There are no consent accidents. So we're going to be waiting about a month and a half before we really get to, like, you know, the down and dirty on this. So we're going to be waiting for this. We'll keep our ears to the ground for all this stuff. I just wanted to give you guys a timeline on what's going to happen. All right. So that is where things are. I'm not going to get into the rest of this. There was a situation where Kendrick's team said, well, we'd like to pause discovery. We haven't gotten anything that we should have had right off the bat from Drake's team. And the judge said, no, I'm not doing that. We're going to have pre-trials as ordered. So if you guys go online, you happen to take a look at the case, you're wondering what all these other orders and filings are. It was about attempts to stop discovery until the motions to dismiss were ruled on. And well, obviously, Kendrick and those guys want to do that to avoid having to do things. The judge said, no, we're not doing that. You're going to have your case we're going to have the case as planned. So now we'll get to the actual motion to dismiss. And this is it. This is it. This is actually pretty good. And not only that, there is a supplemental authority that we're going to get to that is just like, oh, buddy. Oh, buddy. You know, PPP and Worski are going to have to F's in the chat for their fellow Canadian boy. Are they live tonight, by the way? I kind of want to hear them talk about the whole Dark Side Phil thing. But anyways, here we go. So they're seeking a motion to dismiss. And they did file a 2-page notice, but we're not going to cover that because that's not important here, guys. It's not important. Les important. This is what matters here. So they talk about things, the introduction, statement of facts. They talk about the vitriolic rap feud. And they talk about the legal standards here. The alleged defamatory material is non-actionable opinion and rhetorical hyperbole. And they claim that UMG acted with malice. They're like, you can't prove that. And they're like, that's not true. I'm surprised they didn't say, well, you probably are a pedo. That would have been the based answer to go, well, Drake probably is a pedo, Your Honor. So we're going to move on. Now, they actually have quite a bit of table of authorities here. And guys, we've talked about this before. Bell Atlantic versus Twombly, and then Ashcroft v. Iqbal. These are like the two infinity stones for civil procedure when it comes to a motion to dismiss. Actually, just really period in civil procedure. They call them Twickball. We mentioned it before. It's all the ideas about notice pleading and how pleading should be construed when you get to the motion to dismiss stage. So, and look, just page after page after page of cases. Like, this is pretty well researched and put together. You can almost say it's on fire. Anyways, it's so weird that they start this off with it. But yeah, this is a Drake quote. Yeah, I want it all. That's why I strive for it. Diss me, you'll never hear a reply for it. It's from the Drake song, Successful. And it says, plaintiff, one of the most successful recording artists of all time, lost a rap battle that he provoked in which he participated. Instead of accepting the loss like the unbothered rap artist he often claims to be, he has sued his own record label in a misguided attempt to salve his wounds. His complaint is utterly without merit and should be dismissed with prejudice. So they're already starting out by saying he's a bitch. Salty Donkey, Daily Donkey Salty Tabs. We'll get to that at the end because that's the best part. That's the best part of what's going on here. Oh, chat. Rumble was not working. Rumble is working now. Sorry. Hi, Rumble. Sorry if you're out there, but it just wasn't working. Should be working now. Aubrey, okay, like Ryan, it's ambiguous. Ryan is not an ambiguous name. Ryan is not an ambiguous name. What is it, an epic rap battle? No, it was not an epic rap battle. So this moves on. They talk about the spring of 2024. Two of the most popular artists in the world. If you guys don't know the story, we're going to go through it. Kendrick Lamar, and Aubrey Drake engaged in a high-profile rap battle. Over the course of approximately 2 months, they exchange increasingly vitriolic, incendiary diss tracks, sometimes responding within hours of each other. Drake encouraged the feud, and they say, for example, when he felt Lamar was taking too long to respond, Drake released a second recording in which he goaded Lamar to continue the rap battle. Lamar did just that, and collectively they released a total of 9 tracks taking aim at each other. Multiple commentators declared Lamar to be the winner of the battle. Yes. And then Not Like Us, the penultimate track in the feud, is the subject of the complaint. And to be fair, guys, Not Like Us is a fucking kill shot. You don't have to understand rap to know that that was actually pretty savage. Pretty savage. And it was released on May 4th. It's been a massive commercial success. The record was the best-selling rap album of 2024. Won the Grammy Award for Record of the Year. And that's the thing. He got a Grammy for Record of the Year. And the music video won the Grammy Award for Best Music Video. The song Not Like Us won the Grammy Award for Song of the Year. It became a ubiquitous cultural phenomenon. Among other things, Lamar performed the song at the 2025 Super Bowl halftime show to a record audience. And on Saturday Night Live parodied it at the recent 50th anniversary special. So yes, that is kind of like, they're like, look, it's so fucking big. They are taking Drake's crying about how big it is, and they're like, Judge, no, you don't get it. He says it was huge, and you don't get it. It's huge. Like, we are like everywhere. This is the best song ever. We're making so much money off it. That is what's going on here. It is the that's what we're talking about now, man. That's what we're talking about. That's the part I like about this. They're like, listen, man, you don't get it. We're telling you, Judge, it's bigger than what he said. They say Not Like Us, like all the recordings, and like many of the notorious diss tracks throughout rap's history. I don't know. Calling somebody a pedophile right off the bat's pretty intense, man. Like that's buddy. That is something, man. I don't know if that takes some chutzpah. That consists of a series of hyperbolic insults. Drake has been pleased to use UMG's platform to promote tracks leveling similarly incendiary attacks at Lamar. And I'm surprised they didn't use the argument of unclean hands here, but they didn't make the argument. Including most significantly that Lamar engaged in domestic abuse and that one of his partners and managers is the true father of Lamar's son. You know, the funny thing is, I don't know any of those songs, so I have no idea what the fuck they're talking about. But now, after losing the rap battle, Drake claims that Not Like Us is defamatory. It is not. It's true! That I wish they would have said that. In reality, like, they should have put a footnote, 1. And then been like, down here at the bottom, they're like, just for the record, this shit is 100% true. That's what they really should have done. Oh. Beanpot saying, not like Meet the Grams was a kill shot. Not Like Us dug up Drake's corpse and shot on it again. I'm going to have to, like, Google Meet the Grams. I haven't heard that one. But like I said, that's the only, like, think about it. For all the white people out there, all we know is Not Like Us and A minor. That's all we know. That's all we know. So, yes, that's all it's there. Cat Madison said, what's unclean hands mean? Oh, Family Matters is a song. Thank you, Luke. See, guys, the New Zealanders are plugged into the rap game more than we are. Cat Madison, unclean hands is the idea that if you're seeking equity and that you're claiming that you don't get to come to court and allege the other guy did something if you're doing it too. If you're seeking equity, you have to be a righteous party. Your hands have to be clean. You can't have dirt on your hands if you're claiming that guy's got dirt too. Because if that guy's throwing mud, if you're saying he's throwing mud and your hands are covered in mud too, like that's the easiest example. Like your hands aren't clean. You're in this too. You're causing the problems as well. And he calls him a pedo sex trafficker in there. Wow. Chip says we is not us, Sean. Yes. So there you go. I hope that answered your question, Kat. It's the idea that you don't get to seek relief in the court if you're a problem, if you're part of the problem. You know, it's kind of like running to the police and crying about things while you're out there harassing that other party. I mean, it's kind of like that. Just saying. That's a, you know. Let's see. We're gonna keep moving on. While the complaint almost fucks entirely Not Like Us, it disregards the other diss tracks that surrounded Not Like Us, as well as the conventions of the diss track genre, and thus critically ignores the context of the dispute. Assessed in context, as it must be, Not Like Us clearly conveys non-actionable opinion and rhetorical hyperbole. Diss tracks are a popular and celebrated art form centered around outrageous insults, and they would be severely chilled if Drake's suit were permitted to proceed. Drake also alleges that Not Like Us, and I'm surprised if this is what they're going to go for. Why didn't they make this a slap motion? Because that would have been fucking hilarious, too. New York's got a pretty good anti-slap law. And it says, Not Like Us constitutes second-degree harassment, but he sues under a criminal statute that does not prescribe speech and has no private right of action. And then they say, finally, Drake claims that UMG's promotion violates New York business law, but fails to allege any elements for that claim. And they say, notably, less than 3 years ago, Drake himself signed a public petition criticizing the trend of prosecutors using creative expression against them. And that's in cases like in Young Thug's trial, guys, the YSL trial, the YNW Melly trial, where they use rap lyrics against the rappers to claim they're committing crimes. And yes, that's not cool. We don't want that. So that's a thing happening there. And they say, by treating rap lyrics as literal fact, and they say this is a request for judicial notice, and they talk about Exhibit A. And we'll get to all of them. We'll get to the request for judicial notice. And they say, as Drake recognized when it comes to rap, the final work is a product of the artist's vision and imagination. Drake was right then and is wrong now. The complaint's unjustified claims against UMG are no more than Drake's attempt to save face for his unsuccessful rap battle. The court should grant UMG's motion and dismiss the complaint. And then we have a statement of facts. And once again, don't do orphans chat. Control Enter, new page. The parties, they talk about UMG, being a party here. They say Drake is an internationally known rap artist. Drake signed with UMG in 2009. He's been successful. He's sold over 170 million albums. And he was Billboard's Music Artist of the Decade in 2021. And they say UMG also represents Lamar through Interscope Records. Lamar is a highly successful rap artist in his own right. Now they get down to here and they talk about it. Not Like Us at the center of the rap feud. The artists reportedly trace it to back more than a decade, but it broke into the public domain in 2024 when Drake and Lamar began trading tracks. And they say it's not a unique thing. Rap feuds where artists trade diss tracks and insulting each other have existed since the beginning of rap. Yes, but then people have also gotten shot and killed. They talk about these things like a number of storied feuds. The Roxanne Wars involving Roxanne Shante and the rap group UTFO. Like, who the fuck? Anybody out there know what that is? Anybody out there know what that is? I don't. I don't know what that is. I don't know what that is. I don't know what that is. So it's not like I know. And let's not act like you know. Not like that. So, as well as feuds between Nas and Jay-Z. Well, I know about that one. Nas and Jay-Z. And I think at the end of the day, Nas won that, given how everything's turned out for Jay-Z with P. Diddy and all that. So, Lil Kim, Foxy Brown. I know about that one. Megan Thee Stallion and Nicki Minaj. I still don't understand. She's the Stallion, but she's Megan. She can't be a stallion. But whatever. I think when you guys already explained that to me, and I'm like, it still doesn't work. She can't be a stallion as a girl. And then they say Drake is a prolific rap feud combatant, having traded tracks on a number of artists, including Pusha T and Meek Mill. Meek Mill is one of the people that was listed in the lawsuit filed against Diddy as being around on some of the freakouts. They talk about some other times Drake has done diss tracks in the Meek Mill feud, and then he had a Pusha T feud. They say the feud between Drake and Lamar goes back to 2023, with the recording of First Person Shooter by Drake and J. Cole, in which they rapped that he, Drake, and Lamar were the big three. And in response, Lamar appeared in 2024 with a track like that, with artists Future and Metro Boomin, in which he rejected the notion they were his equals, rapping, the motherfucker, the big three. Niggas, it's just big me. I'm gonna have to go back and listen to that because that's pretty. I like that. Drake responded in 2024 with the track Push Ups. And the recording takes aim at Lamar insulting at his height. How the fuck you big stepping with a size 7 men's on? Which, to be fair, yes, Kendrick Lamar is a small stature man. And Pipsqueak piped down, you ain't no big three. Although you just said he was big three. In his career, it's like you first number one, I had to put it in your hand. Your last one bricked, you really not on shit. God, Drake just sounds so gay. I've listened to his stuff before. It's really awful. I'm at the top of the mountain. Just had to talk about this. Yo ass I had to hike down. He also encouraged Feud stated, and that fucking song y'all got did not start the beef with us. This shit's been brewing in a pot. Now I'm heating up. Well, you got fucking roasted here, Drake. So then the seemingly impatient time it taking Lamar to respond, Drake released tailor-made freestyle on Instagram. And the recording uses artificial intelligence to make it sound like the voices of deceased rap icon Tupac and rapper Snoop Dogg are rapping Drake's lyrics, which that's a bitch move. That's a bitch move. So Drake don't even write his own lyrics. Yeah. Yes, there is no big three. There's only the short king. I agree, Chad. So, hold on here. What is... He should have never left the wheelchair. ASAP Rocky to be at Lollapalooza? Cool. All right, so what goes on from here? So, in their voices, Drake taunts Lamar for his delay. More notably, for present purposes, Drake urges Lamar in the voice of Tupac, talk about Drake liking young girls on Lamar's tracks. He says, Kendrick, we need you, the West Coast savior. Engraving your name some hip-hop history. Okay, I'm not reading all the way through this. If you deal with this officially, you seem like a little nervous about all the publicity. Fuck this Canadian light skin. Yeah, okay, this is just ridiculous. I'm surprised Snoop didn't sue Drake for this. They talk about, real quick, they talk about showing this owl. Show this owl who's the boss. And they go down here and talk about it's the OVOs for various commercial endeavors Drake has, including his record label, OVO Sound, and his clothing brand, OVO. And they use an owl's brand as the name image. So that's where all that came from, beating up the owl before. So, and then his own voice. Yeah, I'm not reading all that. So Drake responded with 2 tracks, Euphoria, followed by the 616 in LA. And they say in the 616 in LA, Lamar raps of Drake and Euphoria. And they keep going on there. He attacks the use of Tupac's voice in tailor-made freestyle. He says, I'm ready to double the wage. I'd rather do that than let a Canadian nigga make Tupac turn in his grave. That's pretty hard. That's harsh. Attacks his parenting. He says, I got a son to raise, but I can see you don't know nothing about that. And insults his character and racial identity. Oh, no. How many more black features till you finally feel you're black enough? Wow. No. Lamar keeps insulting in 616 in LA, where he raps that members of Drake's OVO team are disloyal. And then Drake responded 14 hours later with the track Family Matters. The track is a scathing attack on Lamar, laden with hyperbolic slurs. Drake attacks, among other things, Lamar's authenticity. He mocks his height. States that Lamar cheats on his fiance. and asserts that one of Lamar's children was fathered by one of his business partners and managers, Dave Free. So Drake also then keeps rapping that Lamar physically abuses his fiance. And then the recording also makes other allusions of violence, including gun violence. Well, that's like, Drake claims that he's emptied the clip over friendlier jabs. Oh, fucking A, Drake. That's gay as fuck. You ain't shooting nobody, homie. Like, Drake, Drake ain't walking around Drake ain't strapping up and carrying a Ross. He ain't walking the dog. He ain't toting a Roscoe chat. Like, let's go, Drake. How many bullets you got? Huh? It's like Gran Torino. How many bullets you got, Drake? I can't imagine he's got any. That's his ghostwriter. I know. Kendrick Lamar only... Did you mean to type it like that? Only cheats on his taxes. I'm fine with that. Nothing wrong with cheating on your taxes. Drake ain't down with the glizzies and the switches. I know. He don't like the switchies and the glizzies. So, and then he keeps on rapping, come get your ass whooping. I'm handing him out. Okay, yeah. You know, it closes with Drake stating, you're dead. There's nowhere to hide. Well, that just sounds really gay. You're dead. Well, yeah, okay. So Lamar later responded with 2 more tracks, Meet the Grams, followed by Not Like Us. And Meet the Grams released 30 minutes after Family Matters. Lamar directs his insults to various members of Drake's immediate family. Not Like Us released on May 4th. Drake, and they talk about it, and they say, Lamar calls Drake names while you trolling like a bitch, ain't you tired? And it was God's plan to show you all the liar. Mocks Drake's OVO brand and image. What OVO for? Other vaginal option? Pussy? And what's the owl? Nigga and bird bitches. Makes threats of violence. They attack his personal relationships, including that Drake had relationships with Lil Wayne's girlfriend, and calls him a fucking colonizer, inferring that Drake exploits other artists for fame and financial benefit. Taking up imitation and tailor-made freestyle to talk about Drake liking young girls. I mean, and I didn't know that, so I guess it's fair game. Is it really defamatory when you say do it? It's like when you dare people to sue you, and then they sue you. You don't get to go, uh-oh. What do you mean they sued me? Oh. Drake has a small militia made out of MK Ultra programmed satanic children. Yeah. Oh. The rough streets of Edmonton or Ontario. Yeah. Well, I think Ruckle knows about the streets of Ontario. Or of Edmonton. Drake's from Toronto, I think. And they say, so Lamar makes various statements about the issue in the computing, saying, say, Drake, I hear you like him young. And it's like, just make sure you hide your little sister from him. And then, why you rolling like a bitch? Ain't you tired? Trying to strike a chord, and it's probably A minor. Then he also raps, and, Baca got a weird case. Why is he around? Certified lover boys, certified pedophiles. And then, guys, there's a bit of an information dump down here, so if you want to know. Baca refers to the OVO member, Baca Not Nice, who was arrested in 2014 on human trafficking and assault charges and convicted of assault in 2015. So there you go. And it says, your homeboy need a subpoena. That predator moves in flocks. That name got to be registered and placed on the neighborhood watch. So Drake responded the following day with the Heart Part 6. There, Drake doubles down on his statement that one of Lamar's children was fathered by another guy. The claims of domestic violence. Drake states that he expected the alleged defamatory statements and Not Like Us. This Epstein angle of the shit I expected, TikTok videos you collected and dissected. And he denies them. Yeah, I'm sure. He's only fucking with Whitney's, not Millie Bobby Brown. Remember, that's Whitney Houston's daughter. He said, I delivered twice at no teenager. Yeah, I'm totally sure. He also contains further references to violence, including, I'll slit your throat with a razor. And then once again, yeah, bullets that I'm stuffing in each chamber. Your ass in extreme danger. Once again, hey, Drake, how many bullets you got, homie? Huh? How many bullets you got? Tell me how many bullets you got. Come on. Oh, Millie Bobby Brown's a girl from Stranger Things? I thought that was the... Oh, that's Bobby Christina that was the thing there. I don't remember. I don't fucking know. Oh, Millie is from Stranger Things. Oh, I don't watch Stranger Things. I don't fucking know. Get educated. I don't watch Stranger Things. I'm sorry. I thought it was... Well, what's the name of fucking Whitney Houston's daughter? The one that died. She's like drowned in the bathtub. I stand on business. Yeah. Drake made Millie lose 20 years in her face. She was like 14 hanging around with Drake. Oh, damn. Yeah, Bobby Christina. Okay, thank you, KLF. I'm an uncultured person. I know. I don't know all the Negro rap stories. Yeah, Bobby Christina. Yeah. So, Not Like Us is a massive commercial and artistic success. Yeah, and once again, he talks about the rap feud. They say we could say Kendrick is one. They say, has there ever been a clear as that's funny? The New Yorker is like, has there ever been a clear as loser as Drake in the New Yorker? Oh, yes, the rap battle between those two black gentlemen. The New York Times talked about it. Everybody did. Yes, at this point now, they're talking about Not Like Us being heard or viewed 6 billion times, chat. So remember when Drake talked about it, and when they're having to talk about like how bad it is for Drake, they have to talk about how awesome the song's going. And now it's 6 billion times. That means almost 75% of the world has heard the song statistically. Oh, it set multiple records, including most single days for rap song. It reached 300 million Spotify streams. In a 7-day period, it had almost 100 million. The first week of its release, it debuted at number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100. Ranked first on YouTube's weekly music video chart for almost a month. And it maintained popularity. Billboard says it has 45 million impressions on the radio. And has been used in over 1.3 million videos on TikTok. Oh, no. The recording of Not Like Us was nominated for 5 Grammy Awards. Song of the Year, Best Rap Performance, Best Rap Song, Best Music Video. And won in all 5 categories. Ooh. Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ, chat. YouTube has a music video chart, yeah. Cacophony says, Meet the Grams dropped so fucking hard compared to Not Like Us. We're going to have to listen to it, but I don't know if we can do it right now. 6 billion fuck yous, Drake! Yes. 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 Catch up on the Negro lore. Bama's like I said, Negro. Well, I'm sure that's how like people who read the New Yorker, they're sitting on their yacht. They're like, honey, Muffy, darling, have you heard about these Negro gentlemen having a feud over their rhyming songs? I say, you should read it. It's very interesting. Let me know when you're done with that Bill Crystal article from The Atlantic. Ha ha ha. Yes. I imagine that's how people read the New Yorker talk. Twitter hadn't even responded to Drake's song when Kendrick dropped. Okay, says only 3 years ago I learned the word colored is bad. Oh no. Oh no. So the standards. Now, guys, remember we talked about all the different 12B motions you could file. And this is a motion to dismiss under 12B6. The fact is that the complaint, the complaint fails to meet a standard upon which relief can be granted. You don't state enough facts that you can grant relief. And he talks about you must plead enough facts to state a plausible claim of relief on its face. And that's where you see Twombly, then you see Ashcroft and Iqbal. And it says well-pleaded, non-factual or non-conclusory factual allegations. And they say in certain circumstances, the court may consider documents other than the complaint and the ruling on a motion under 12b-6. And they may take on documents incorporated in the complaint by reference in matters of which a court may take judicial notice. And that we're going to get to why that's important, because the thing they file at the end here is called a request for judicial notice. And judicial notice is something the court could take notice of, like that. This year, St. Patrick's Day fell on a Monday. That's a fact we can all agree to, that it doesn't require either side to prove. The court can take notice of it. It's such an obvious thing. So they also point out the latter category includes the fact that press coverage contains certain information, as well as other publicly available documents. They say courts will there often take judicial notice of documents that provide necessary context for a defamation claim. And they say courts in this district, remember, we're in the Southern District of New York. Those courts have affirmed that there's particular value in resolving defamation claims at the pleading stage, so as not to protract litigation through discovery and trial and thereby chill the exercise of constitutionally protected freedoms. And that's important. So they're kind of like, they're acknowledging a slap issue here, anti-slap, without having an anti-slap. And they say that is a defamation cases, Rule 12b-6 protects not only against the cost of meritless litigation, but provides assurance to those exercising the First Amendment rights that doing so will not needlessly become prohibitively expensive. And they say Drake fails to state a claim for defamation. They say Drake, who had no concerns using UMG's platform to publish slurs about Lamar during the rap feud, now claims that Not Like Us is defamatory. These allegations, which are directly aimed at shilling legitimate artistic expression safeguarded by the First Amendment and New York law. And he says they are meritless. Drake fails to state a claim for defamation because Not Like Us conveys non-actionable opinion and rhetorical hyperbole, not fact, because Drake cannot adequately allege that UMG, and also because he can't allege that UMG acted with malice. And they say to succeed on his defamation claims, Drake has to do this, and we've talked about this before, chat, with defamation. It's a defamatory statement concerning the person. It's published to a third party. That third party's, or that, the publisher is at fault. And that there's falsity to the defamatory statement. And then you need 5 as special damages or per se actionability. And they say, where here is a plaintiff as a public figure, he must also prove that the alleged defamatory statement was made with actual malice. Remember, chat, that is how you do this when you're dealing with a public person. That's the New York Times v. Sullivan thing. You have to do now malice for a public figure. And they're both clearly public figures. Now, they say to be defamatory, publication must convey a fact, not opinion. They say expressions of opinion as opposed to assertions of fact are deemed privileged and no matter how offensive cannot be the subject of an action for defamation. And they say whether a statement is opinion or fact is a question of law for the court. And they say the question of fact versus opinion is appropriately raised at this stage. And they say to distinguish between facts from non-actionable opinions, New York courts analyze whether the specific language and issue has a precise meaning, which is readily understood, whether the statements are capable of being proven true or false, and then finally, third, whether either the full context of the communication in which the statements appear or the broader social context and surrounding circumstances are such as to signal readers or listeners that what is being read or heard is likely to be opinion, not fact. So, chat, remember, I've told you this before. You can't just go, well, it's my opinion, and then you say a bunch of shit. That doesn't work. You can't just call it your opinion and you're safe. You actually have to, there is a standard for what makes an opinion. So they say at its crux, the question for the court to resolve as a matter of law is what is reasonable. What a reasonable person hearing or reading the statement would likely take it to mean. And they say that context is key. This is the Court of Appeals in New York. Remember, that's their Supreme Court. The Court of Appeals. That's the highest court in New York. They say that they have consistently focused its analysis on the overall context in which the complaint of assertions were made. They say it includes both the immediate context in which the disputed words the words appear, as well as the larger context in which the statements were published, including the nature of the particular forum. And they say courts must look to the tone of the communication, its purpose, and the setting in which it was made. And they say the tone and purpose may signal that it is not conveying an accurate factual assessment offered by a disinterested observer. Tone may indicate that non-actionable opinion where it reflects a degree of anger and resentment. They say where tenor is rambling, heated, or speculative, or often escalates into the hyperbolic, or where a statement provokes parody, loose, or figurative language, there's going to be a concern for that. They say, likewise, the broader context informs whether a statement is reasonably understood to convey factual assertions. They say even apparent statements of fact may assume the character of statements of opinion when made in public debate, heated labor disputes, or circumstances in which an audience may anticipate the use of epithets, fiery rhetoric, or hyperbole. And in rap, you could expect all of that. Goes on to say further, then they talk about statements in a letter to the editor are deemed non-actionable because the common expectation of a letter to the editor is that not that it will serve as a vehicle for the rigorous and comprehensive presentation of factual matters, but as one for the expression of individual opinion. And that's true. When you go letters to the editor, it's meant for you to bitch. They say that, and this one here is involving Don Imus, the famous radio host. He's now dead. Say defamatory statements made by Shock Talk host did not state a claim for defamation, as they would not have been taken by reasonable listeners as factual pronouncements, but simply as the expression of views in the crude and hyperbolic manner that has over the years become their verbal stock in trade. And they say, continuing with that observation, New York courts routinely hold that tone and context render allegedly defamatory publications non-actionable. So they go on like this is the problem though. This is called a string cite, guys. This stuff in paragraphs is where you talk about the case, but look how much they had to do. It's like shit, just cite it and talk about it normally. So they move on to the recent case of Michael Rappaport versus Barstool Sports. They say their actor Michael Rappaport alleged that statements made by Barstool Sports accusing him, remember Barstool is Dave Portnoy's thing, of having herpes and abusing his ex-girlfriend, including several statements in a 6-minute diss track in which the defendants rapped a constant stream of insults and slurs about Michael Rappaport against a backdrop of unflattering video clips and images were defamatory. So he's claiming that they're defamatory. The district court rejected the claim as a matter of law. And he said that the statements were largely laden with epithets, vulgarities, hyperbole, and non-literal language and imagery, delivered in the midst of a public and very acrimonious dispute that would have been obvious even to the most casual observer, and published on social media, blogs, and sports radio, which are all platforms where audiences reasonably anticipate hearing opinionated statements. Hold on 1 second, chat. So they talk about the Second Circuit affirmed this as well. And they said the district court considered the statements at issue were made in the context of a hostile, vulgar, and hyperbolic feud, in which the use of epithets, vulgarities, and hyperbole function as a strong indicator to the reader the statement is not expressing or implying any facts. These conclusions apply here, and they're saying not like us is there. And they say, first, look to the tone, Judge. The 4.5 minute rap diss track consists of a series of epithets, fiery rhetoric, and hyperbole. It's endemic to the rap genre, chat. It's part of the rap game. It's part of the rap game. So, does he have herpes? Yeah, I don't know. Yes. I don't know if that. I send you this? Sure. Johan says, what's up, my naggers? Don't nag too much. So, to be fair, Drake did do it, or he's not like us, but it is also hyperbole. That's the thing. It's hyperbole, but he also did it. It's kind of like what I know what they want to say here. So, they say, not surprising given context, the reporting reflects a considerable degree of anger and resentment. There's a degree of anger and resentment, sure. Exaggerated vitriolic words pervade the recording to attack all aspects of Drake's life, including his career, authenticity, brand, relationships, and character. And notice they're citing the cases that they go. Exaggerated imagery in the music video reinforces that Not Like Us it's not intended to reflect a factual analysis. For example, the video opens with Lamar whispering to a clown that he sees dead people. A nod to the film's Sixth Sense, implying hyperbole that Drake has been defeated in the rap battle. The video also shows Lamar beating an owl pinata with the disclaimer, no OV hoes were harmed during the making of this video, and staring down at an owl in a cage. This imagery reinforces the non-factual nature of Not Like Us. Indeed, no reasonable listener would require a disclaimer that the pinata is not literally Drake and his crew. The imagery is satirical and vitriolic, all of which signals to the audience that the video does not convey sober factual analysis. This part here, this is so damn funny. These attorneys are so fucking ridiculous. They say, likewise, the album image of Drake's Toronto house is, and if you guys, we've covered this before. Not Like Us cover, if you guys have never seen it. This is the cover for Not Like Us. Hold on here, chat. This is the cover for Not Like Us's album cover. That's Drake's house in Toronto. That's Drake's house in Toronto. And it's got sex offender dots on it. Oh. So obviously they're saying, and that's what they did here. As they go on to talk about this, though, they say no reasonable person would believe the image of Drake's house actually has 13 sex offender markers on it. The image is hyperbolic and exaggerated. Well, no shit. But I love how they're just rubbing it in a little bit more. They're just rubbing that dog shit into Drake's beard. Just a little bit more. Just a little bit more. That's the best part about this. That's the best part about this. Now they also say they also talk about the case of Hustler magazine versus Jerry Falwell. This was a famous case back in the 80s. They rejected the claim arising out of the magazine's outrageous artwork depicting Jerry Falwell in a manner that was patently offensive and intending to inflict emotional injury, where the speech could not have reasonably be interpreted as actual facts, but about the public figure involved. And they say, Not Like Us, they're also pointing out the broader context. This did not emerge out of thin air. It was the culminating diss track in one of the nastiest lyrical feuds in recent history. And they say it followed the release of 7 preceding tracks in which Drake and Lamar both hurled allegations at each other. Including the fact that his son was fathered by someone else and that he physically abuses his fiance. And they say, if there was ever a circumstance for the audience to anticipate the use of epithets, fiery rhetoric, and hyperbole, this is it. Moreover, the broader context makes it clear that Not Like Us relates to well-known controversies that Drake himself acknowledged and perpetuated. They talk about Statements are not actionable when you, encourage all of this that happens. The facts of criticism concerning Drake's relationship with minors predate Not Like Us and have been widely reported. Noting that Lamar is indicating Drake for years of rumors and speculation around his misbehavior around minors, and that Millie Bobby Brown is one of the things that most people are aware of when it comes to Drake and the rumors around him. She talked about sexting with Drake when she was, a minor. And they're talking about how that there's a news article covering that. Kissing and fondling a 17-year-old at a concert. Whoa, buddy. Whoa, buddy. Fucking A, I'm glad I don't know this shit. All I know about Stranger Things is it's the meme where the chick is wearing like the sailor hat and she writes on the dry erase board. That's all I know about Stranger Things. So, yeah. Notably, Drake himself called upon Lamar to invoke these allegations. And that's true. He invited it on himself. And they say in The Heart Part 6, Drake affirmed he understood Lamar's statements in Not Like Us to refer to the Millie Bobby Brown controversy, stating, "This Epstein angle was the shit I expected." They say clearly Drake himself understands that Lamar's lyrics refer solely to well-known issues. And it says, taken together with the fact that Not Like Us was released in the context of the combative and vitriolic rap diss battle, it would be obvious even the most casual observer that Not Like Us is not a factual assessment offered by a disinterested observer. And notice, chat, they keep going back through. Yes, we keep calling you a pedophile, but nobody believes you're a pedophile. By the way, we said you're a pedophile 500 times. Yes, 500 times, Judge, that Drake is a pedophile. And they just get to keep publishing this shit in the motion. It's so fucking funny because it's litigation privilege. So this is fucking hilarious. They just keep doing it. So, wasn't Drake a Nickelodeon star? I thought he was a Disney kid. Does it really matter? He was one of them. He was one of them, chat. Sometimes they do it like that, so. So who the fuck is Millie Bobby Brown anyway? I don't even know who this is. Millie Bobby Brown. I don't know what the hell. Yeah, I don't know who the fuck that is. So, yeah, I don't know who this is, chat. I don't know. She British. She have Bawa. So I don't know. She's the bald telepath on Stranger Things. I haven't watched Stranger Things, so I don't know what that is. Like I said, all I know about Stranger Things is the meme where the chick wearing the sailor hat writes on the dry erase board. So they say in context, Not Like Us was released to make pains that the recording and all of this convey hyperbole and opinion not based on anything beyond controversies that have been widely acknowledged, including by Drake himself. So he fails to state a claim, and I think that's a pretty persuasive argument. Now they talk about the malice standard, and they say the public figure can only prevail in a defamation case where clear and convincing evidence proves the false and defamatory statement was published with actual malice, with deliberate or reckless falsification. And its focuses on primarily what a defendant knew or believed at the time of the false statement being made. And you have to survive the motion of dismiss. You must allege specific facts that plausibly evince actual malice in a clear and convincing manner. So, they talk about certain situations, works of fiction, parody, and satire. The malice inquiry must focus on what the publisher subjectively intended to convey. They say, for example, here the speaker intends his statements as outrageous parodies or caricatures. There may be no consciousness that the speaker is publishing something false because the speaker does not think that he is publishing a statement of fact. Therefore lacks objective knowledge or recklessness as to the falsification of a statement of fact that was required. And they say to show actual malice, you have to have, there can't be any basis for contention that, the one party intended a satirical article to convey the facts. And they keep moving through this. And they say defamatory statements by a participant in the WCW match are not actionable as they do not contain the necessary consciousness of falsity because the speaker did not think he was publishing a statement of fact. Well, there's also the fact that it's fucking WCW, so it's all kayfabe. And kayfabe is fake. And they say so here too. There's no basis for a claim that anybody at UMG had knowledge or the subjective intent to publishly false factual statements about Drake. UMG released a rap diss track containing fiery rhetoric and insults, not factual assessments, much less false ones. And they say UMG engaged in the same conduct when it distributed Drake's Family Matters, in which Drake rapped that Lamar engages in domestic abuse and is not the father of his son. And they say, like much parody and satire, the hyperbole, exaggeration, and insults are endemic in rap, particularly in diss tracks. And they say rappers' lives are exaggerated and non-factual. That is part of the craft. The actual malice question is therefore what UMG intended to convey. And they say Drake has not alleged any specific facts plausibly evidencing in a clear and convincing manner that anyone at UTG or UMG intended to convey or believed the public would understand, not like us, as conveying anything other than what it was, a diss track, y'all. And they say they point out that he failed to state a claim for harassment in the second degree. And he asserted a criminal claim, and we talked about this, a little weird, that there was a call to violence against Drake in Not Like Us. And they say there's no private right of action here. This is a penal statute. And unless there's expressly a private right of action, trying to recover anything from people maybe had only if a private right of action may be implied. So the law has to create that or contemplate it. If they don't, you can't just come in and say you want something there. Yes. Penal. Oh my. Oh, Millie Bobby Brown is married to one of John Bon Jovi's sons. Interesting. So, they say this requires whether the creation of such a right would be consistent with the legislative scheme. In this case, it doesn't. There's nothing here there's nothing that distinguishes this from every other run-of-the-mill criminal statute that lacks a private right of action. And they say, rarely is there a private right of action under a criminal statute. They say when a statute is contained solely within the penal law, the legislator intended as a police regulation only to be enforced by a court of criminal jurisdiction. And they say, as with other criminal statutes, second-degree harassment is included in the penal law, and it gives the officers the ability to enforce its provisions. And they point out that a private right of action is inconsistent with the legislative scheme. So they point out, and courts have already decided this, that this section of the penal code does not create a private right of action. And guys, yes, there might be times where you're allowed to sue. RICO is kind of one of those where you could bring a private RICO claim. But there's not really a lot of laws where you could sue privately and seek, anything under that law. So this is one of those few times. Hold on here, chat. Hold on. All right, chat. All right, we're back here. Okay, so they just point out like all these cases repeatedly through the Southern District of New York, recently as this year, got dismissed. The Northern District of New York, the SDNY, like it's happened all over a gajillion times, even in state courts. They say even if the statute had a right of action, the claim would fail. UMG did not act with the intent to harass, annoy, or alarm Drake. You know, Drake does assert that they were trying to devalue his music brand in order to gain leverage, but that's not an intent to harass. And anyway, it's speculative, conclusory, and illogical. Drake doesn't even attempt to explain how a contract with Drake would be more profitable for UMG if Drake was devalued, after all any alleged leverage would presumably come from decreased revenues. And that's true. If Drake's going to make less money, how does that help the record company? You know, they aren't going to felt Drake if that hurts their pocketbook. That would be retarded. And moreover, they point out that UMG had the opposite incentive with respect to re-signing Kendrick Lamar. Yeah, it doesn't make much sense. And they say that the harassment statute does not prescribe pure speech, which is what issue here. Indeed, if it did prescribe speech, then a New York Court of Appeals has invalidated multiple laws that purport to criminalize harassing speech. It's got to be more than just that. They say even if Drake could do all of this, even if he could beat all those problems that we raised, they're assuming an arguendo that this claim would still fail because it can't meet the constitutional test for incitement. And that's the thing. You have to have incitement to make it harassment. And they say under the First Amendment, incitement can only be prescribed when speech is directed to inciting or producing imminent lawless action. Chat, and that's a standard you need to remember. Imminent lawless action. And is likely to incite or produce such action. And that's the case of Brandenburg v. Ohio. And guys, Brandenburg is another case of Ohio men doing Ohio man things. I'm sorry, chat, but we set a lot of criminal case law here in Ohio. So what happened in Brandenburg? Well, Brandenburg was a member of a group of Klansmen who they invited a news crew out, and this news crew came to their rally, and they're lighting crosses on fire, playing with guns, and they all stand around a burning cross, and they do their, heartfelt. They throw up some Romans, and those guys got charged for it. So, now they point out there's two requirements to this. You have to intend to produce, and it has to be likely to produce imminent disorder. And they say neither of these is satisfied. They say even accepting the theory that they wanted to devalue him, the Drake never alleges the record company intended to cause violence against him, and any such allegation would be impossible and implausible. They say second, the lyrics of Not Like Us are not likely to incite or produce imminent lawless action, or even to qualify as which speech alarms or seriously annoys. It's a rap diss track. And they say Drake attempts to contort violent metaphors into lyrics of incitement. They say like the sound of someone being beaten up, the recording repeats, wop, 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 wop. And then Lamar says, then says Lamar will fuck him up. They say, but as explained above, the hyperbolic and metaphorical language is par for the course in diss tracks. They say, indeed, Drake's own diss tracks employed imagery, at least as violent, such as gunshot wounds. And lyrics like, you're dead, there's nowhere to hide. And it says, I'll slit your throat with the razor. Now, with a razor, like a razor blade or like a phone, because that would be pretty epic if he could do that. So they say, in short, as with the defamation claim, Drake seeks to chill a form of artistic expression that he himself has embraced. Yes, chat, they're basically arguing anti-slap thing there. So this is kind of what they're doing. Robo Sean, what? Did I do something? Huh. Oh. But yes, this is really good points. Like Drake's like, when you talk about people being dead, homie. But they're basically kind of arguing an anti-slap statute here without having one. And they say courts have rejected far stronger claims of imminent lawless action than diss tracks. And yes, there's various cases, chat. The NAACP versus Claiborne Hardware. That's actually a pretty big Supreme Court case for First Amendment stuff. That's a so, and that all talks about even if violence is threatened, it's still not enough. You got to do more. And they said, and because here's what happened in this. The NAACP people told people in Claiborne County, Mississippi, that if we catch any of you going to any of them racist stores, we're going to break your damn neck. It was protected speech, even though shots were fired into the homes of boycott violators, which that did happen. They said, finally, Drake fails to allege because he cannot that they acted with no legitimate purpose. To make money is a pretty good purpose. The phrase no legitimate purpose means the absence of reason or justification to engage in someone other than to hound, frighten, or intimidate or threaten. And he says the motives with respect to not like us were financial. It's like, well. And they also said seemingly recognizes deficiency. Drake alleges that while its initial move was financial, that UMG lost any purpose to continue its own course of conduct in the face of Drake's public and private denials. Now they say this is a cursory legal conclusion, and it's true. Drake's denials about the song have nothing to do with about whether the motivations were solely to hound, frighten, and intimidate or threaten. Maybe they wanted to do all these things, but it was in the midst of other things going on. And they say these were to UMG's motivations were to solely hound, frighten, intimidate, or threaten, by which Drake's own admission that none of them were. And that was the thing, he was waiting to come back and he was acting like, everything's, I'm going to just land like a hero. And it's like, I don't know about that, buddy. So. Yeah, DC Killing Spree says, even people that don't like rap songs know the song and they sing along to A minor. Drake is done for. Yeah, I think Drake is really kind of, So, they say Drake is a male duck. Well, Drake is, yeah. Yeah. So, HR 2.0 yawn. They talk about he also fails to state a claim under New York general business laws. And he claims that UMG covertly and financially incentivized third parties to play, stream, and promote the recordings of Not Like Us by making misleading representations of the recording's popularity. Now, I haven't read this part yet, chat, but I know what they're going to say. These allegations are entirely bogus, but at all events fails to state a claim. I thought they're going to be like, look, the allegations are bogus because this song really did fucking blow up and it was hot as fucking Chernobyl graphite. But it's okay. That's not illegal. I was waiting for them to say that. I was hoping that's what they were going to do. And just go, well, yeah, but we were going to do it anyway. Oh. So to state a claim under this, you must allege the conduct was consumer-oriented. The actor practice was deceptive or misleading. Well, it wasn't. It's a good fucking song. And the plaintiff suffered an injury. I don't know if he did. I mean, the injuries were at the hands of Kendrick beating his ass. So those are the three elements. And they say the centerpiece of the claim is the utterly false assertion that UMG used bots to stream Not Like Us. Drake based his theory on the claim that an anonymous individual alleged on a Twitch stream that Kendrick Lamar's label paid him via third parties to use bots to achieve 30 million views on Spotify in the initial days following the release. They say, but this claim is then directly refuted by the very source Drake cites. In the Twitch stream, the anonymous speaker And they say already a dubious source claims he was hired by Anthony Sala, who is Kendrick Lamar's manager. And they say that UMG and Interscope are never accused. And that's kind of important. It's like they didn't do it. If it's all Kendrick, then it's not our problem. And they say critically, after UMG notified Drake's counsel of the falsity of Drake's allegations via Rule 11 letter and accompanying Rule 11 motion. Ooh, buddy. Those are out there, chat. Drake conceded the falsity and agreed to withdraw and correct the meritless litigation. And they say despite this concession, Drake has refused to actually amend the complaint to withdraw the false allegations until after UMG files the motion to dismiss. Oh, geez, guy got new pipes on his truck. And they say what's left of the claim after subtracting the stream manipulation theory is equally spurious, meaning it's bullshit. And they say as an initial matter, all the remaining allegations are made on information and belief without stating the basis therefore. They say Drake has also received information that UMG engaged in a classic pay-for-play scheme by paying to increase the airplay of the recording on the radio. And they say that also UMG employed a similar scheme for social media influencers to endorse the video. And they say this is of course improper pleading and warrants dismissal. And they say that information and belief allegations, when you say upon information and belief, must be accompanied by a statement of the facts upon which the belief is founded and cannot rest on pure conjecture and speculation. And they say, moreover, it requires a plaintiff to allege that he suffered an injury as a result of the deception. And they say, yet now that artificial streaming is out, Drake does not assert that any other UMG supposedly deceptive conduct injured him. And they talk about save for the putative misstatements concerning the popularity of Not Like Us on the radio. How? And they say, they talk about this, like, how does this work here? And they say that, Drake is claiming that every time the recording was played, it was a deceptive act. And they're saying Drake lost the opportunity for one of his songs to be played. But that's not enough. That's not enough. And they say, first, there's no consumer-oriented conduct. The deceptive act Drake alleges is that UMG marketed the recording as chart-topping, despite knowing that it had paid third parties, including radio stations, to play and promote it, which is what they do. I say, but the complaint alleges only that UMG marketed Not Like Us on its website before licensing on television and film. And they say statements aimed at the television and the film industry concerning licensing rather than consumers are not consumer-oriented conduct. And they say no customer-oriented conduct. The deception was directed solely at persons interested in obtaining licenses for the operation of taxi cabs, not taxi cab consumers. And it did not concern products or services purchased as consumer goods. And that's a pretty good argument. There's, what the record company is doing is not actually directly interfacing with the consumer. And then he says that this isn't deceptive or misleading in a material way. Drake never alleges, and nor could he, that Not Like Us would not have been chart-topping if it had not been for the alleged payments at issue. Nor does he include any allegations of why chart-topping claims would be material. And that's that's funny, because once again, chat, that's their way of saying, like, no, the song's really fucking fire, and even if you didn't do anything about it, we would do something about it. Hold on. I saw that. Somebody tried to message me something and deleted it. I screenshotted it already. Third, Drake's allegations of injury and causation are lacking, and that's true. Drake's theory that every time the recording is played, Drake lost the opportunity is speculative and not cognizable. Yeah. That's a really severe injury. And they say, nor does Drake allege that any lost radio opportunities were the result of any supposed misstatements about Not Like Us's popularity, which means he does not allege an injury that is a result of deception. And therefore, his claim fails. And they say, for all the foregoing reasons, this claim should be dismissed with prejudice. So signed by the attorneys, that are here. And that is kind of where we are right now. That's kind of where we are, chat. And we're going to get to this part in a second here. So I'm screen capping typos. Oh, that was a lot more than a typo. That was a lot more than a fucking typo. Let me tell you what, buddies. Let me tell you what, boyos. I'll show you some typos. I'll show you some typos. Tipples. I'll show you some tipples. But that is kind of where they are. Notice they took their time to say, like, it's not even true, like, that he'd be, we would have been popular without you. That is the funniest thing there. That is the funniest part of that. We're going to catch up on some things here. Nico says 25.2K, looking good. I'll have to take a look. How many do I have right now? Let's see what the thing says. Let me see here. Let's see here. Why is this not loading? What do we have? You said 25.2. We passed it. Woo. Makes me feel better. That makes me feel better. Chugi Show says on time and fed in a fat suit disguised as Sean. Yes. David at MLS says, here you go. Take my last $2. Guys, remember David over at Making Law Simple, doing the Lego streams. Linda, good to see you. It's been a little while. Says, I haven't listened to hip hop since Sir Mix-a-Lot. Yes. And yes, Tianeta's for 12 months supporting. It's like Steel Toe. It's just another win for the Kendrick. Yes. Isaac Baruch's wholesome Gabagool art for 4 months of support. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Says, Safa Drake. Safa. Like the kids allegedly did, Drake. Nick Ricada said I could do this to children. Luke says, well, Diddy's in jail now, so they can't be shot no more. Yes. Captain Zach Brannigan says YouTube. YouTube is tax-free. Yes. Yes. Derna, 1804. It's good to see you. It's been a little while. So if you could read the disses in a Kate Hepburn accent, that'd be great. I can't do that. Christine Fortunato's been a member for 8 months. Christine, thank you so much for your support. I appreciate it. 8 months. Thank you very, very much. So this is I'm subbing 20K of my alts if we don't get the 24-hour stream soon. I laugh, but it's probably true. It's probably true. My password manager only holds 200 YouTube accounts. Oh no, chat. Oh no. That's not good. So anyways, on from here, chat. We move on to what's called this request for judicial notice. Now, this is, remember, chat, it's judicial notice. It's things the court can take notice of that you don't have to be proven. Like, the court just accepts them as they are. Like, duh, I already know the thing. So I talk about all these exhibits here. So they say pursuant to Federal Rules of Evidence 201. And hold on here. Now, what do judicial notice here It says the scope, it covers notice of an adjudicative fact only, not a legislative fact. And it says things that can be judicially noticed. Because it's within the trial court's territorial jurisdiction, or it can be accurately and readily determined from sources whose accuracy cannot reasonably be questioned. So, and the court might take judicial notice on its own, or the court can take notice of a party requests it. So that's how you establish judicial notice. I promised us a 24-hour stream. No, I did not. I never promised you guys that. I need that like I need a hole in my head. Absolutely not. We're not doing that. All right. So moving back on here, chat. They're talking about judicial notice of the following song lyrics and news articles attached. Talking about Exhibit A. And this is about See Art on Trial, Protect Black Art. It's signed by Drake. They talk about a true copy of Drake's track. It's a copy of his lyrics from his track Back to Back. They talk about Drake's lyrics for Duppy Freestyle. A true and accurate copy of the lyrics for Drake and J. Cole's track First Person Shooter. They say E is a copy of lyrics for Kendrick Lamar's Metro Boomin and Future's track Like That is released on March 22nd. They can also show you where it's available. F is a true and correct copy of lyrics for Drake's track Push-Ups, released on April 2024. And then they talk about, more of these things, that Drake's track for Tailor-Made Freestyle, Kendrick Lamar's track Euphoria. I also talk about the other tracks Kendrick Lamar did, 616 in LA. They talk about more of like Family Matters from Drake. They're going through all these things here, and they're talking about Meet the Grams, and then the Heart Part 6 is also listed. They also go on to talk about the Grammys and everything that was at the Grammys, and they're just showing them like, yes, we're popular, but we are not dealing with this. A true and correct copy of a January 16th article entitled Drake Slammed on Social Media for a 2010 video in which he kisses and fondles a 17-year-old girl. Oh my God. It was written and put in USA Today, so it's not just like a tabloid. They talk about Drake being slammed for kissing the 17-year-old in an old video written for Fox News. And they say that Drake kissed a 17-year-old in a clip for The Guardian, which is funny. They just, and by doing this, they're reinforcing the idea of Drake likes kids. They talk about an article entitled Drake Slams Critics Questioning the Millie Bobby Brown friendship that began when she was 11. Or, I'm sorry, 14. And this is written by guys for the New York Post. Like, there's all these problems here. Thought about Exhibit R that, despite his friendship with Millie Bobby Brown in 19, that all this had been that it had been done in a way, and that it was being covered by People Magazine. They're talking about everything that's going on here, guys, that it even got to the point that NPR is getting involved. They talk about the Toronto Sun because of Drake. Like, look, the newspapers around the world know about this. I mean, like, we're up to Exhibit W. And they talk about the New Yorker. They also talk about the New York Times now doing articles and stories. And you guys know how those could be, especially New York Times. Those could be a ton. Watch out. Here we go. And they say that they talk about Exhibit Y is a copy of the affirmation of a guy filed on behalf of Spotify in a different case that's been filed in New York Superior Court, and Supreme Court, and that means like trial courts in New York. They talk about Exhibit Z, was a true and correct copy of Drake's track Mob Ties. So they're just talking about all the shit he does. They're talking about, as noted, the Supreme Court says you must consider the complaint in its entirety, as well as other sources and things that the court may take judicial notice. So there you go. And yes, that's Telabs Incorporated versus Maker Issues and Rights Limited. That's a big case in civil procedure as well. Supreme Court decided. So, and they say matters judicially noticed by the district court are not considered matters outside the pleadings. And they're trying to sneak shit in. How do we cram all this shit in a way? And that's what they're going for here. So they go on and on here about taking judicial notice. Courts should take notice of song lyrics. And there are SDNY cases showing that, a couple of different ones here. And they say they can further take judicial notice of court filings. You can. Courts can take judicial notice of a lot of things. And it's not because for the truth of the matters asserted in litigation, but rather to establish the fact of such litigation and the related filings. So that's how you do this. And I've had to do that before. The court takes judicial notice of something else. And I said, Your Honor, it's not for the fact of proving that. It's to accept it just exists. So they say each of these are noticeable under the standard. A is a signed petition. B through L and Z are lyrics to tracks released by Drake, Kendrick Lamar, and other artists. Exhibits M through X are media reports. Exhibit Y is a court filing. And they say these exhibits are publicly available such that their authenticity is not reasonably in dispute, and UMG has supplied this court with the lyrics, news articles, and sources where they can be easily located. So they say, accordingly, judicial notice is appropriate. They talk about the sources that are cited in the complaint. The two exhibits are incorporated in a reference. And they say, for the foregoing reasons, we want judicial notice. Let us send these 26 exhibits in. Notice, that's the thing. They're trying to squeeze 26 exhibits in. I Can Tour is a Big Pun tribute act. I know, because it's so hard. Cheer. These nibbles want to be like Pun. Oh, but they don't bust their guns. Oh, so will Drake sue anyone calling him a pedo? Kind of want to put up Drake as a Chomo sign everywhere. Yeah. Yeah. It says, well, we're currently under judicial DDoS. Yeah. Yeah, I just crushed a lot. Oh, no. So, yeah, that's kind of where we are, guys. This has been this was a lot more fun to read, a little relaxing tonight. We have some stuff we will be getting into coming up. Like I said, tomorrow night, Karen Reed. If Karen Reed is done in a appreciable amount of time, chat, we'll go ahead and watch it tomorrow before the 9:30 show. If it's super long, I don't think we will. We'll have to save it for the weekend. We got Mickey Steins to get over this weekend. We've got Friday night. We're doing OhioCon. So it's a case of OhioCon versus Sick Eye Guild, and it's basically these. It's a con, and a group broke off from it. There's a strike. Gets locked out of Discords. Everything falls apart. It's actually pretty hilarious. Yes, Michael Proctor getting tossed out of the Massachusetts State Police. Yes, Tropa Proctor got tossed out of the MSP. We'll probably be talking about that tomorrow. So yeah, that's going to be great for Karen Reed as out there. So there's new filings in the suppressor case that I covered on appeal regarding arms. Okay, thanks, Matthew. I'll take a look. Or let me know. Eric says, I thought it was a statewide convention. Well, no, it's called OhioCon. Ohayao con. Ohio con. It's meant to be like, oh wow, very kawaii, very super Japan-y. So, anyways, they're suing, and because it's Ohio, we're gonna do it. Yes, Ohio Sean. No, not that. Yes, it's Ohio con. So, you thought it was a statewide convention. Yeah, I don't want that. Oh, God, guys. God almighty. So we got that done in a pretty good amount of time here. I was pretty impressed with that. So thank you for being here. Robin says, this is the most ratchet, boring shit ever. I think it's hilarious. I think it's hilarious that they're just sitting there bagging on fucking Drake. And as this case keeps going, they keep on shitting on him. And they just go. They just go and go and go. As they're trying. Oh, I forgot I had my old glasses on because I woke up this morning and I had taken my glasses off here and I'd gone to bed and I left them sitting on the keyboard. And I woke up and I couldn't find my glasses, so I had to put on the spares. And I'm like, shit. And then I found these later today. Also, like my glasses, these are the old ones. These are the ones I just had. These are the current pair. Couldn't find similars to these, but I mean, these are kind of basically like the BCGs out there. Tilly, good to see you, man. Good to see you. But yes, these guys know litigation, defamation privilege. And that's a neat thing. You can say all kinds of shit in litigation because you're protected. That's why, like, if you're on the stand and you say something, you're protected. That's why in a deposition, you say something, you're protected. For the most part. Got to be careful. But you could say all kinds of shit and you're protected because it's a litigation privilege. Yes, Kendrick called out the lawsuit during the Super Bowl. He called him a bitch for suing. Yes. Yes. Yeah, these are closer to the modern BCGs. I know. That's why I was saying. They were pretty tough, too. So can Lamar call Drake a pussy now? Yeah, I think he's done it before, too. You can always call him that. Joe says, can you use litigation introduce defamatory claims into the public record? At times you can, but you don't want to just file a lawsuit and claim, oh, I'm just introducing claims, because you're going to get burned if you try that. So don't do it. Don't do it like that. I need those glasses like the one basketball player wore, the rec specs. Dude, when I was a kid, we tried those because when I first got my glasses, I was like in the 5th grade. And the year before, we had played baseball in the summer, and we were playing hot stuff. I got hit by that. Like, I got hit all the fucking time because I couldn't see the ball till it was like, and we finally, like, my parents, like, kind of realized it. Like, I couldn't see the ball till it was probably about 10 feet away or even closer. And there's nothing you can do at that point. I got hit all the fucking time. We played hockey as kids. It wasn't that big a deal. Actually, no, I think I was in the 4th grade, not 5th grade. I could do hockey without it because the puck was enough of a contrast on the ground, on the ice. I could follow it and kind of like figure it out. But we tried using rec specs, and I had a pair. And, you know, just putting them on with your helmets and everything, they fall off and they get knocked around, and then they fog up all the time. And that's when I had to learn the trick of, like, you take like a little bit of shampoo, like clearer shampoo, translucent shampoo, and you could smear it on the insides, and then you could see and you wouldn't get fogged up. Katie says, I played a lot of sports. I wasn't this fat, so yes, I could play a lot of sports. I play, like, here's the thing. When it came to baseball, I wasn't very good at it. Shocker. So I played in, like, the city league. So, like, if the kids who weren't good enough to get on the travel teams, but also the parents who were just like, I'm not fucking driving around everywhere, or we can't afford it. So that's what I played. I played the city league. So I wasn't really, it's not like I was there because I was good. I got teabagged by a baseball. Never got hit in the face, but I took shots like up and down my back. This one time I got hit like 3 times in a game. And the last time I got really mad but it fucking hurt because he drilled me. Like I turned, I turned, and he hit me right in the middle of the back, and I was just like, like I fell over because it hurt so bad. The pitcher kept throwing the ball over my head. No, there's more than one time where the ball came in, and I was kind of like, oh shit, it went up really high. Like I didn't even know it was there. So. Admitting I got back shot, yes. Well, now me and your mom can talk about it, how it felt. Matthew says the Fifth Circuit response is, okay, I'll take a look at that. Thank you. And getting balls from the back shots, yes. Oh my God, you guys are ridiculous. You guys are ridiculous. So, all right. Didn't you in Ophelia? First for everything. First time for everything. Does a hit by pitch count towards your on base percentage? I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Like, I don't know what the fuck slugging percentage is in baseball. So, no, I don't know. I don't know. Actually, it's a good question, though. That is a good question. All right. So, hold on. Does hit by pitch count towards on base percentage? Wow. Other people have asked this question enough. Yes, being hit by pitch counts towards a batter's on base percentage because it's considered a way you get on base, similar to a hit or a walk. I mean, that does make sense. I didn't know that. I just didn't know that. So, huh. Shit, I learned something today. Although I'm pretty sure I would have learned that a long time ago. I'm not even batting at 300 in sports analogies tonight. Yeah. So, Sean stole a ton of bases. I was actually I did actually get a ton of bases stolen. I didn't slide around. I just kind of trotted across. And that's because people got the fuck out of the way because I did take advantage of the fact you can run into people if they're in the way. Jay, slugging percentage represents the total number of bases the player records per at bat. Oh, okay. I thought there's more to it than that to do a slugging percentage. Yes, fuck you, J Rock. A Clyde appearance before you leave. I'm not sure. Guys, we got storms coming tonight, and Clyde is he had a really Clyde really gets nervous when storms come, and we don't know what the deal is. But it's how he is. It's how he is. But he gets before I came in here, he was sitting on 2.0's lap, and he was just he was panting like a crazy man. So let me see here. What time are we gonna get these? Because just raining and the wind howling a little bit freaks him out. Oh, we're gonna get the rain probably starting about 2. And it's gonna go probably until 5 or 6. Wow, that's not gonna be good. Clyde's gonna be panicked, and especially if there's a rumble of thunder, he's gonna lose his mind. I'll see if he'll come in here. Hey, Clyde, come here, buddy. What's that? Is he going? Is he outside? Oh, come here, Clyde. Come on, buddy. Come on, Clyde. Oh, here, the click-clacks chat. Come here, Clyde. Oh, he's waking up. He had to shake it off. Come here, Clyde. Hey, come here. Come here. Come on. Come here. Come on. Come on, Clyde. Come on. Oh, there you go. Come on, run over. Hi, Clyde. Oh, he just headbutted me. Hi, Bubba. Hi. Yeah, look at him. He's all tired. He woke up. He was sleeping. Can Can you hear the thunder? Oh, he's like, look at him. He's like, I am so tired. What do you want, fat man? He's like, what is it that you people want out of me? That's a big yawn. You better have the weed treats. Yeah, we take care of him. We give him the weed treats. 2.0 already got him set up. The Battle of Bastogne was fought mostly in precipitation, yes. Green Top is saying we had tornadoes here, but they get lucky enough to total my car, though. Well, I guess that's good, if you like that. Tilly says, panning like a $2 whore and a lap full of 20s. Yeah, Clyde is, he looks, she got him all doped up. I think he's a little out of it. Look, he wants to put his head down. Do you want to put your head down, buddy? He's like, I'll go to sleep. I'll go to sleep. Look, he's just gonna like, whoa. He'll go to sleep like this if I give him a head spot. Look, he wants to lay down. It's okay, Clyde Bear. It's okay, Bubba. We're gonna wrap up here in a second. So, Cesar Malance is walking down for fireworks helps with anxiety. Clyde needs more exercise. Yeah, that may help him. I don't know. Because he's been all out of sorts. Like, he knows when storms are coming, big storm days. I don't know. I think he can tell. How many do you guys give him at a time? Like, Clyde, he takes like 4. He could take like 4, and that kind of gets him caught up. But, like, it all depends. Some nights he's gotten like 5. It doesn't help him. It's okay, buddy. It's okay. See? How about this? Huh? Yeah, there you go. There you go. I need more exercise too, yes. He needs his Thunder Buddy, the sandwich man. Well, yes, we take care of him. We take care of him. He'll sleep tonight very well. Tonight he'll sleep on top of our fucking heads if it all gets a little windy. So, Edward said, "Oh, this won't work for Clyde. I love fireworks. I like loud noises. Clyde does not. We don't know. Clyde, maybe Clyde's just always been scared of him, or something happened to him. Remember, like I said, guys, we found him at the shelter, and we're not sure what happened to him. I mean, we have a lot of concerns because if you guys have seen the pictures over on Locals, he was skin and bones when we got him. I mean, we thought he wasn't going to make, like, we kind of thought we was going to have him only for like 2 weeks in. Like, 2.0 and I were talking, and she thought he wasn't going to make it because she's done enough fostering of animals. Like, she thought he might not make it. Like, he found a place where he could die peacefully with a little bit of like people caring about him. Like, he would go sit out in the yard and it'd be like nice sunny day. And he would just sit there, just kind of stare off into space. So, yeah. He's been through a lot. You thought pot was bad for dogs? They're CBD treats. So they're hemp. So it's not like actual THC. So the storms give them flashbacks. Yeah. Oh, so anyway, yeah, CBD for dogs is really good. So chat. All right, that is where we are with Drake. Now, guys, remember, we're not going to see anything for like a month and a half now. So there won't be anything. You'll see what happens in a month and a half. You got, the end of April. That's when we'll get more Drake stuff. So if you guys are really want to know about this, don't worry about it now. It's all done. Yeah. Like I said, see, he's out. He wants to lay down. So, yeah. The storms remind him of the Haitians arriving. Yeah. Yeah, it's more CBD than THC. Oh, it's all CBD. It's not THC in those at all. It's pure hemp. So, Deanna's saying, what type of CBD do you give Clyde? Hold on here. I will put up the link for it. Amazon. I don't even get paid for this, and I'm still putting it up here. So here it is. It is these bad boys. These are called quiet moments. These are, Hold on here, chat. Let me see here. Actually, you can get these without. See if I can get the. These are the bad boys we use for Clyde here. These are what we get them. They're Nature Vet Hemp Quiet Moments. I ran out of the ones I have in here. We get a refill of them. I need to go grab some of them. We have another stash of them, but these are the ones we get for Clyde. They do really good to take care of them. So, hey, Clyde fucking loves them. When you open the jar, he comes running. You know, I could just make ether. I'm not chloroforming my dogs. Oh. Jasmine Crockett has just called for Elon's death. Well, fuck those bitches. They don't know what they're doing. Just let them be. So, yeah, she's done a lot of aminal fostering. So, yeah, 2.0. That's one of the things. She's such a kind person. It's super. It's really interesting. Bella says, is she going to get charged with incitement? No. She's going to be able to say, I just said it politically. So, they're human safe. Try some. I'm good. I'm not eating those. I'm not eating fucking dog food. I'm not like, who was doing that on a live stream? They were eating dog food. Who was that? They were making fun of. She was eating dog food. Yeah, Laura Loomer. I'm not eating fucking dog food like that. All right, Clyde, I'm going to set you on the ground, Bubba. You go find 2.0. All right? Was not Chantal. Do not insult Josh Moon's queen like that. Do not insult his queen. Did I ever meet Milk Bones? No. Laura Loomer, the Jewess. So. No, it's not AOC eating dog food. So. Chat, we're all done for the night. Like I said, it's going to be quite a while till we come back to this. And then from here, we'll find out what happens to Kendrick Lamar and Drake. I mean, maybe Drake gets arrested and Diddy spills his guts. That would be hilarious. So, chat, I will see you guys tomorrow. Like I said, we might just Karen Reed before the show. If not, we have the Ohio Con lawsuit that I think is interesting. We'll take a look at that. And then, like I said, we got some other things to work on this weekend. The documents that we were going to talk about for the Karen Reed stuff, chat, a lot of that got addressed in the hearings that we've watched so far. So I'm not going to go through them. I know that Bob Mata did, and I know Runkle did them, but they addressed pretty much everything at this point. So we're not going to take care of that right now. If there's new ones, we'll go through those. So, yes, we have Proctor to laugh at, too. Yes. Also, parts of Karen Reed's discovery and the investigation discovery thing are out, and we can watch them later. And it's like, cool, buddy. So, with that said, chat, I will see you guys tomorrow. And remember, until next time, just because you did it does not mean you're guilty. Unless you're Drake, and then you really are guilty. You really did do all these things. I mean, I don't know how, like, it's you know. I mean, it is what it is, man. You be you. I mean, I really don't want you to be you, but, you know, you're going to do your thing, I guess. So, good night, chat. You guys take care.
Blacksmithing and models of planes, esoteric works and even some trains. Much merriment had while drinking White Claws, tips on hunting and even talking the law. Whatever you do, just don't talk to cops. Even when they nab you on illegal stops. Just 'cause you did it doesn't mean you're guilty. But please talk to a local attorney. Was that the fat guy